Hey, what's up? I'm Gutana. Welcome to the Cruzers channel. In this video, you will learn how to make the perfect racing video game. Let's get started. The first thing you will want is Need for Speed Rivals in disc form. The next thing you will want to do is get a lighter. Nothing too expensive, just a cheap one. And then you gonna wanna burn Need for Speed Rivals.
What'd you just say?
I said your fucking baby's gonna burn.
Alright, so recently racing games have been getting worse in some cases, and some dead, like Need for Speed. Wouldn't it be nice if a company took a racing game like Need for Speed Carbon and said, hey, let's add on to that. For example, Grand Theft Auto 5. You're doing the same old shit as before, just like in all the other GTA games, but you get to own cars online. You get to carry those cars to high-ass places, and you get to have races with fighter jets in your cars that are in really high-ass places. Basically, they added a fuck ton to the same old GTA, and guess what? Nothing else can compete with it. Need for Speed Rivals, they took features out that the older games had, and you can see where it went from there. Alright, if we're going to start talking about making the perfect racing game, we should start with the cars. There has to be a ton of awesome cars. I can't go on with what cars I personally want in the game, but I know there can be quite a few cars in it, like Forza. Each Forza game has around 200 cars, minimum. Also, the quality of cars does not have to be as perfect like in Forza 5. The point is to do more stuff, you know? I almost forgot. There needs to be a My Cars option. Those of you who played any of the good Need for Speeds knows exactly what I'm talking about. The My Cars option is a batch of off-to-the-side free cars that you can do whatever you want to without using money of any sort.
Now on to the customizing. You might think there is a game out there that has every possible customization for a car. Performance, tuning, body, and paint. You might think that game is Need for Speed Rivals. If you do think that, you can but if you think it's Forza, you would be almost right, because it's the only game with the most customizing. But it's still not all of the customizing. For example, Forza cannot give you a perfect copy of vinyls from one side of a car. But Midnight Club Los Angeles can. You know what else Midnight Club Los Angeles has that no other racing game in the world has? Custom interior, underglow, useless Lambo doors, custom suspension and tire sizes, insane detail to rims, completely custom controls on consoles. But the one thing I think stands out the most on MCLA, transparent vinyls. That one little option alone can triple the amount of paint jobs a single person can do. Have you ever heard of color smart cars? Those are cars that look good in any color. And I don't think they ever left Midnight Club. Sad story. You know what else is sad? Forza not having the carton checkout option. That's a nice feature. It enables you to see what your car can look like, completely done up before you pay for it. Last but not least, for customizing, I just want to put out there the idea of naming cars. Let's say I have two GTRs and they look exactly the same. If I named one, I would know which was the one that had bitch on the back. Hold on. Just hold on. I really have one last idea for customizing. This idea has never been brought to the table, and I have strong hopes that this idea could revolutionize car customization in racing games. Alright, here it is. Custom car molding. Like in Yeah, I know, like in Need for Speed Carbon, Pro Street, and Undercover. But, more than that. What if you could make a whole new body kit? Completely new. You made it. Or even make a popular fake car. I know this is a bit of a stretch, but the sky's the limit, right? Moving on to single player. We don't want to be given a name or a face. We just want to look like the Stig. And we want the look that says, "F you, I'm racing." We don't need a big dramatic story with lots of cinematic. In fact, we don't need a story at all. Burnout didn't do that, and it's still one of the best racing games in the world. Anyway, the story can easily be replaced with, oh, I don't know, more cars, customization, or even a bigger map. Speaking of maps, we don't want a place with just open roads or just enclosed tracks. We want a mix of everything, and the game that gives exactly that is Grand Theft Auto 5. Just look at the map. You got your off-road, you got your city, you even got your bendy hills. And the highway is just the cherry on the cake. Multiplayer. I would agree that the multiplayer in games is getting nothing but better. But there are still a few options I would really like to see in games nowadays, such as 2 to 4 player split screen, 2 to 4 player co-op split screen, 2 to 4 player split screen online, LAN games, because there are people out there with Wi-Fi and no internet. And yes, there's a difference between the two. For the buying and selling of cars or paint jobs, I love how Forza has things. Even though I got banned from using it, I still give it a 10 out of 10 for best racing game store. For online racing, I just have one request. Do not have elastic banding, or in other terms, catch up. This stupid ass option has almost wrecked Grand Theft Auto 5. Yeah, I noticed how you can't take the option off in some of the GTA events. Rockstar, you noobs. I mean, I understand it if the game was called Mario Kart, but it's not. It's more realistic than Mario Kart. Note how I said realistic, Rockstar. Getting to the last bit, the settings. Nowadays, I like to really mess with the audio settings in games, because it really helps when the in-game sounds aren't overpowering my friends' voices, especially in a YouTube video. A good example of this is every single game that Bungie made. Yeah, Funky, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey Funky, so how is that media fire? Alright, I was gonna rip on Bungie a little more, but just listening to their failure probably did it. More about the settings. The ability to control what you listen to is a good one. In the good Need for Speeds, you have a ton of freedom to choose what you want to listen to while racing. The music in Burnout Paradise on the consoles is unmatched, I think, because you can have your custom music that you found over the internet, YouTube perhaps, or even iTunes. You can have that. No, actually you can't have iTunes music because iTunes kind of is a piece of shit. And finally, the police. I could suggest a ton of good to harder police, but if they brought back just one thing for the cops, I would love for it to be that crazy chopper from Most Wanted. That's all it would take. Then I'd be in pursuits all the time. Now for the end segment of the video. Thanks for watching. I hope I got you thinking about your racing game some more. Be sure to like the video, subscribe while you're at it. Peace, love, and metal. And now for that Halo example again. Hey Funky, so how is that media fire?